Yeah, it shouldn't take really that long because really what it is that it's more of what you should be doing on your own on this thing. I'm just here to kind of spur some thought and give you some tools to kind of lead you down a path, and then you are supposed to kind of go and, implement that. So let me share a screen. And if I haven't said hi to anybody else, hi to everybody. So thanks for jumping on this. Let's see. Okay, so the whole point of this thing is to kind of take a look at what you did in 2025, kind of get down a plan of what you would ideally like to do in 2026. Along the way, there are always going to be things that take you off course. There are going to be things that you didn't expect to happen. The market's not going to cooperate exactly the way you think it's going to be. Maybe it's going to be better. Maybe it's going to be worse. We don't know. The point is to have a plan that is something that you can change along the way and adapt to whatever the newest and latest and greatest things are coming at you. Whether it's you personally having, hopefully just you're healthy beyond belief, but things happen in life and you got to just kind of at least have an idea of what you'd want to do for your business and for your personal life. So this first part of it is just going to be this handout I'm going to send to you afterwards and everything. And it's just going to kind of take you down a path of creating your own business plan. Um, I don't know how many of you have done this every year or can or do this every year. And if anybody wants to show, tell me, let me know. But I do a business plan every year. That doesn't mean that it's perfect. That doesn't mean that it is exactly what happens by any stretch of the imagination. I was reviewing my last three business plans and how far off they really were. Partially, market was not anywhere near what I thought it was going to be. Now, along the way during those that each year there's adjustments that I make to the business plan. So I'm looking at the very beginning of it, right? And then I put another sheet in there saying, "Hey, this is what's going on," or whatever, "this is what I'm trying to do." So part of that is to kind of get you to put, pen to paper and come up with your own plan. And then there's some Excel spreadsheets that are like calculators that will help you kind of determine how to get to whatever income level you want to get to is usually the way I start things. But let's start it off. So, the beginning of this thing is just, some nice little quotes from different people. I like the Benjamin Franklin one here. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. There's a lot of other ones. The Yogi Berra one is very good. If you don't know where you're going, you'll end up someplace else. So you can write down whatever it is that you want to write down or use these. The six steps to the program should be basically looking at what you did in the past, whether it is just 2025 or you go back several years and kind of look at what you had been doing and what had been, working for you during those years and kind of reflect upon that. And then creating those goals for 2026 and kind of coming up with this is the income level I want, this is the vacation I want, this is the life I want, this is the whatever it is that's important to you because it's not just about income and all that. It's about, um, you know, everything from income, because obviously income does, make it to where you can go on vacations and stuff like that. But whatever goals you have for 2026, you can put down on this thing. So then you're going to kind of cast your own vision of what that would look like. And then the important part is adjusting the course because every time I've ever done this, it's never been exactly what I thought it was going to be. I'm sure that's true of most people, that you find that things just change. But this is not a New Year's resolution kind of thing where you are saying, "Hey, I'm gonna work out 5 days a week and lose, 25 pounds or whatever." And then 2 weeks into it, you stop it. That's not the hope. The whole point is to have this as a a plan that continues to evolve and change along the way. So you got to adjust your course. So then, kind of the narrowing your focus will go over, but it's kind of like what is really important in your plan and kind of getting it down to what's really important. Because what I've found, even personally, but definitely with a lot of loan officers, a lot of realtors out there, people like to prepare, but they never actually do anything about it. And it's kind of one of these things that I've seen over the 20 plus years of having this company is that there's some people that just they get in it and they are just dialed in and they just go, go, go. And even if stuff is coming at them, they kind of just like bob and weave a little bit and you know, kind of are good even if there's something bad that happens. And others, they prepare and they get this grand plan going and all this, but then they actually never implement anything and it never actually becomes the plan that they want it to be. So we'll talk about that more. Put it on paper. That is very, very important. Whether it is, you just want to keep it on your desktop or whatever, or you want to print it out like I do every year. I always have it sitting on my desk somewhere. So if you're ever in my office and you look around the messy paperwork, somewhere you're going to find my business plan. Because when I'm like looking at things and going, shit, this month has not been good or whatever, a lot of times go back to that business plan and going, okay, what was I doing or what was I trying to do? So let's go through it. So remembering your best year. So for a lot of the loan officers out there and probably a lot of the realtors, 2021 was probably the best year for most of us. But whatever year was best for you, it doesn't mean last year, just any year. And what was that total volume or amount of deals you did, and what was the gross income, and kind of what contributed most to making it the best year. Was it just because the market was so great, and that may be it, or was it because you were more dialed in? You really, started the morning fresh every day, and you did certain things, and maybe that's waned over time. And then just reflecting on 2025. So, what was your volume? You need to know really, what did you do this last year? And so, what was total volume, total units? What were the top three sources of business, the biggest distractions, and the things that worked the best for you? So, at least you kind of have an understanding of where you're getting your business from, and that's something that I have talked about with a lot of people over the years is that you really need to write down, like, if you did 20 deals, okay, where did they come from? A lot of times it's something that you see that they really came from this person that referred, three people ago or whatever. And it's important to know that. Or are you like someone that's doing Zillow leads or something like that? Well, maybe that's where a lot of your business is coming from. Well, if that's where the majority of your success is happening, maybe do a little more of that and a little less of the other stuff. You know what I mean? So that's what this part is for. And then goals. It says, hey, less than 3% of Americans have a written goal, and less than 1% review and rewrite their goals on a regular basis. I don't know where that comes from, but I think a lot of statistics are made up on the spot. But I think it seems pretty accurate to me. So, what do you want most from 2026? Maybe it's, income, maybe it's vacation time, maybe, what maybe you want to get married, maybe you want to have kids. I don't know, whatever. Um, so writing that down. And then, is more income a big part of it? Is it more transactions? Is that the biggest part of it for you? Do you need like greater ease to things like from your systems? Are you using a CRM system that makes it a little easier to do business, right? And not have to actually think about marketing to, your database on a regular basis? Do you need something else like on the real estate side? Are you like cutting off your nose to spite your face, so to speak, and not getting a transaction coordinator? I look at it as it's kind of crazy in my mind. I mean, the checks that come in on the real estate side a lot of times are 25 grand. I think Ashley's like it's less than $500, per transaction for coordination to not have to think about that. Now, if you have one deal a year that you're doing, okay, well, maybe it's not as important. But if you want to do multiple deals, staying out of the weeds on the things that don't matter is important. So on the loan side, making sure that, maybe it's an assistant that you need. Maybe you need an LOA. Maybe you need, maybe processing is an issue where you're like, I need a little more help here. Those kind of things, you got to kind of figure out what they are, right? So, anyways, what are the goals there? Casting a vision. So this, for some people I know, is kind of like they're not the type of people that like to manifest things and put vision boards up and all that. But there's others that really get into that kind of stuff. I'm kind of in between, I would say. Um, I will tell, actually, I'll tell you a story. Maybe I think it was 2016 or something like that. I told my wife, I was like, hey, I've been wanting a childhood car that I've always wanted, which was a 911. It was a Porsche 911 turbo, convertible, blah, 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 all this kind of stuff, right? And I told myself, I said, hey, beginning of the year, if I make 25% more than I made the last year, I'm using that to buy a car, right? This car. Because I don't need the car, obviously. It's just for the heck of it, right? So for me, I'm kind of one of those people that if I don't need it, it's kind of weird for me to just go out and buy something like that. But I put it down and we were into the year by like, I don't even know how many months, but it wasn't that long where I already knew I was going to be above what it was. And so then it was a lot of fun for the rest of the year because I was just looking for the car online and all that kind of stuff. So manifesting what you want, whether that is, what would more money, buy for you if that's important to you, or, and or what would more time provide for you. So maybe it's that you want to take your kids on a, vacation to Paris or something. I don't know. Or maybe you want to put more money in and be secure for the future and you want to put more money in the stock market and S&P 500, whatever. And, those kind of things, write them down, cast the vision of what you want. Now, this on number one down here, it's saying to write out a letter to yourself a year from now of how the year went. And I will say that whenever I've wanted something and it was important to me, I tell people about it. And when I tell people about it, it holds me kind of accountable to doing it. Um, if I just write this down and I don't ever tell anybody about what my vision was for the year, well, it's easy to not do it. That's all there is to it because no one else knows about it. But if I say, hey, I'm going to make this amount of money, I'm going to do whatever it is I'm going to do, it's a lot harder when other people know about it. And we're going to get into that in a little bit. But so the creating of the vision board or book or whatever, for some people, go a little old school and get the board out there, keep it in your office, and have the vacation of the island and the car or whatever it is that you want. Um, and keep it there because you see it every day and it's going to be something that it kind of prods you every day like hey, where are we at with things. um so, and then three, use any means necessary to see your why as clearly as possible. um okay, so adjusting your course. So um it's one of these things that like I said to begin with, there's going to be problems along the way. Every year there is. It's not like everything is going to be perfect. Don't ever expect it to be because it's not. So, as you're looking at this plan, a lot of people, what they do is they write up a business plan and then they don't look at it again until midway through the year or something like that. And I go, it's good. At least it's one step of doing something, writing up a business plan. But the reality is that you do have to you know, adjust things. You have to see that, hey, this lead source that I thought I was going to do maybe it's that Zillow leads. Okay, you go and buy Zillow leads and you think it's going to be so great. And then either A, you just don't like doing it, or B, it's just not working out for you very well or whatever. And either you're adjusting within that system of Zillow leads, or you are saying that's not working for me. I need to replace that with something else if I want to continue to have a plan that's going to be something for the future that's going to work. Uh, so improve sources of business, increase your focus, commit to time blocking. And that one, I would say, I guess I wasn't a huge time blocking person until, and I could be way better at it now, but I'm probably maybe, I don't know, 10 years ago or something like that, where I started realizing like if I don't put down a time where I turn off my email and I say, hey, I'm going to be working on marketing or whatever it is, I'm going to call my database, I'm going to do whatever it is I'm going to do. If I don't put an actual in my schedule from 11 to 2, I'm going to be doing this, it's hard for me to do it because, basically shit gets in the way during the day. One of the things that someone told me this a while ago, and I never really thought about it too much until I was like, wow, that guy's right. Where like an email to me is basically someone creating a list for me each day. And I just look at it as that's pretty bad that someone else is creating a list for me. I should be the one creating a list for myself and then implementing that list. But emails, they come in and they say, hey, I need this. I need whatever it is, right? Okay, now I got to jump on that. Now I got to jump on this. If you don't time block during that day of what it is you want to do, the day gets away from you and you kind of, you know, didn't get what you needed done, right? So increase your hours, hire more staff, something else. So, the hiring of staff, I'm going to show you something kind of at the end that's kind of interesting as far as like if you want to make a certain amount per year, then really if you had somebody helping you, would that really make it to where it's more likely for you to get to that number? So I'll show you that in a minute. So again, this is just a booklet to kind of go through and you kind of get you on the right path of writing down your plan. So narrowing your focus. So just numbering 1 through 5 on your personal priorities and your business priorities. What is it that's most important to you? Is the time management most important, or is it like a morning routine for your personal priorities? A lot of people, like the morning routine thing, it's a big deal to a lot of people that are type A kind of personality. But there's a lot of people that I've met that they work better at night. They don't actually do real well in the morning, right? It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's a matter of whatever works for you, just put it down, right? So if you are, hey, I like to, get, stuff done, from 9 o'clock till midnight every day. Okay, well, that's you. So write those things down or at least put in what priority they are to you. And then putting it on paper. So that part of it is it's a must. You need to have it written down of what it is you want to do, and so this thing is basically saying write out a clear short paragraph of what you want, and basically how to get there and stuff. So next steps, I'm going to show you this calculator that'll kind of help you on this part of things, but it's basically writing down like, hey, how am I going to get to where I want to go? Okay. So refer back to your goals page in your workbook, begin to break down the goals down to a monthly benchmark. So monthly, I think is totally fine. Some people, they're doing like weekly or daily and stuff like that. To me, that's a little over the top, but monthly, the problem is if you don't adjust things as you go and you say, hey, I want to make 300 grand this next year, and the first month goes and you don't close anything. Okay, now you're in trouble, right? Now you're like, uh-oh. And then the second month goes, and let's say you don't close, or you close one thing and it, is not getting you close to where your target would be. Well, a lot of people scrap their plan right then. So, I would say adjust things accordingly. So if hey, maybe the market really wasn't what you thought it was going to be, and you wanted to make, in this example, 250,000 in gross income. Well, maybe that's not on the part of the plan now this year. Maybe that adjustment needs to be made down to 200,000. and or you need to change what you're doing to be able to get that 250,000. So the example on this is if you're making 200, or if you want to make 250,000, and for loans, if your average loan is a $500,000 loan and you have a 2% comp plan, well, you need 25 loans to be able to do that, about 2 loans per month. And then you got to look at pull through ratio. So how many leads do you really need to be able to get to that 25 closed loans, right? So I'm going to show you this spreadsheet that will kind of help you out with that. And then last but not least, um, the one thing that I think is really important for all of us is to have somebody, like I said, to at least put it out in the universe of whatever it is you want to do, right? So is it more money, more time, more whatever? But then have somebody that's your accountability partner that you're going to tell that to, and you're going to say, hey, let's say I use Nick, my right hand man. I say, Nick, I need to make this much this year, and this is how I'm going to do it. Well, a week into it, I'm like, okay, I wanted to do X, Y, and Z. Well, I only got done with X, and then at least I'm talking to somebody that I'm actually having to put it out there to, and then hopefully it's somebody that can say, well, have you thought about this, or maybe you should do this or that, or the other. Maybe it's a monthly check-in that you have with somebody. It doesn't have to be someone in real estate. It could be a friend, it could be a spouse, it could be anybody, just getting someone down that you're actually going to call and setting up an appointment ahead of time, saying, hey, January 31st, I'm going to be calling you and going over what I did during this month and where I'm at with things. Um, it could be another realtor here or another loan officer here. So that's the plan. Now let me show you. Someone give me a heads up. All right, cool.
Income calculator.
Yeah, income calculator. So basically, this thing is pretty easy. If I want to make 500,000 a year, I'm going to put that in. If I say, hey, my average loan amount is, $10,000 to make life easy as far as math, I have to close 50 deals per year, right? If I was a realtor and I was like, hey, it's 25,000, not 250,000, 25,000 a year, I have to close 20 deals, right? So it doesn't matter what it says. You can change any of these things if you want. But basically, let's go back to a realistic loan profile. Let's just say it's 9,500 a year and I don't want to make 500,000. Let's say I want to make 350, which is still amazing. Then it's saying, hey, you need 36.84 closed deals per year. But then it's the pull-through ratio that kind of matters. Like, how many leads do you really need to be able to get to that 36 closed deals? And so these blue numbers are all modifiable to what you have done in the past. So if you said, hey, this is the percentage of leads that turn into loan application or percentage of leads that turn into closed real estate deals or whatever, not closed real estate deals, that turn into a buyer looking to buy a property, okay? If you said, hey, 50% of the actual leads, not like if you're buying leads from somewhere or something like that, because that percentage would be extremely low.
Hmm.
But if it was something that was like, hey, if I get, referrals from people or past database or whatever, how many of those leads really turn into a loan or a real estate deal? So if I say, hey, 50% of the actual leads that I get, they turn into something. And then of those things, 85% of them, the percentage of loan applications that turn into pre-approvals, because some of them are going to drop off because you're going to try to do a pre-approval and you're going to find out, well, they got a 510 FICO score and there's just not really a lot. They have collections, whatever, those kind of things, right? So I look at that as a pretty high amount, though, usually. And then from pre-approvals into submissions to actual loans that, hey, a person's actually out there looking or refinancing or whatever, I would say this is even higher than 85% from the submission to a pre-approval. I would say it's probably more of like a 95% on that for me. And then submissions to close. So if I submit a loan or you get into contract on a real estate deal, how many of them close? I would say the vast majority of them. But it depends on your own situation, right? So for me, let's say it's 95%. Well, then it's going to tell me if I want to get to this 350,000 a year and it's averaging 9,500 per loan that I do. I need to do that 36 loans, but it's telling me I need to have monthly closings of 3 closings, monthly pre-approvals of 3, monthly loan applications of 4, and monthly leads of 8. And then it breaks it down to a daily lead of basically a half a lead a day and a weekly lead of 1.96. So kind of makes it a little easier to break it down into smaller pieces, and then you know, kind of, are you on target really? Any questions on this part of it? No, 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 no. Okay, I'm going to show you one more, and then we'll be done, and then just it'll be open for anybody to ask any questions. And I think this is the right screen. No. Does this say assumptions up top?
Yep.
Okay, good. So this is one someone just sent me a little bit ago. It's kind of interesting. So it's kind of the same kind of thing, but it has a lot of more details. I'll send them both out to you guys so you guys can look at them yourself. But if, same kind of thing. This is one for loans, but it can be for real estate. It doesn't make a difference. So if I make 85, 100 per loan and I want to make 450, or let's say I want to make 350, um, and let's go back to, I think it was like 9,500 per loan or something like that. Okay. So it's still that 36, or no, this is 36 hours. So if I said, hey, I want to work 36 hours a week, or maybe you're a traditional, I want to work 40 hours a week. I want to take how many weeks of vacation? 6 might be a little much, but whatever. Okay. So let's go 4 weeks of vacation. Well, it's telling you, okay, you got 48 weeks that you're working. You're making $182 per hour. Okay, so that part of it kind of was interesting to me because I'm thinking, well, if I want to make $182 or if I'm making $182 an hour if I do this business, what would it be if I like added someone that was a loan assistant to me or a someone in my team that I was paying $30 an hour to, right? You probably could go, okay, well, maybe I'm going to make 400,000 then, right? And then you're at 208. Really, that difference is not that much to paying what that loan assistant would be or whatever. So it's something to think about. And then this part of it is talking about your expenses, like actually your business and your personal expenses. What do you need per month? And you should know that. A lot of people surprisingly don't know those numbers where you're like, well, how much do you actually need per month? Your mortgage payment, your credit card payment, your car payments, whatever it is, your, gas, electricity, blah, blah, blah. So let's say that's 15,000, and let's say you looked at your taxes and you say, really, I get it down to a combined state and federal about 28%. Maybe you're a little higher, you're at 36% tax bracket. Then it's going to tell you kind of really what do you need to make an income, right? So you go, I want to make 400,000. Well, I need 281,000 to actually survive at what I am currently putting out right now, right? And then this is going to take you down, kind of the same thing through the database. How many people do you have in your database? Like how many, every 5 years does one of your clients refinance or buy a new home or whatever? That's what it's kind of trying to take you down to. And it's the same kind of thing. How many leads do you need in there to make that kind of income? So another interesting way of doing it. I'll send it out to you and you guys can play with it. But I'm going to stop the sharing and anybody that would like to, you can start sharing. So anybody have any thoughts, any comments? Someone? No one. Okay. So I will put this out there to it. I do it every year. And Eric Lopez is one of them. I don't know if you're on here, Eric, but you send me your business plan, which I love. A couple other people have done that. I don't mind taking a look at what you write down and then giving you some feedback on what it is that I maybe I say, hey, did you think about this or did you think about that or whatever. It's one of these things that, I'm here to help. The more business you do, the more business I do. So, it works for all of us, right? Um, so if there is anybody that would like to do that at the end of this, please do. I will send an email out with the little, booklet and the Excel spreadsheets. And that's all I got. But let's get ready for 2026, people. It's coming.
Yep.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be better than 2025. That's what I know. I'm not gonna give huge predictions at this point because I feel like I've been wrong a lot. But I think it's gonna be better than 2025 for sure.
Hmm.
Um, all right, guys.
All
Well,
right.
unless there's more, then have a good
Merry
day.
Christmas. Happy New
Happy
Year.
holidays.
Happy holidays.
Yes.
Thank you for this,
Happy holidays.
Shaughnessy.
Yeah, no problem. No
Helpful.
problem. No problem, guys.
Thank
Have a good
you.
one. Yes.
Okay.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.